The Galactic Academy of Varys Prime was a place where the strong strutted and the weak learned to disappear. Kael Veyron had mastered that lesson long ago, not as the one disappearing, but as the reason others did. He was tall even by Keth standards, with 4 arms built like hydraulic pistons and a reputation that preceded him into every room like a bad smell. He had spent 3 years at this academy making sure every species understood the hierarchy, Keth at the top, everyone else scrambling for the rungs below. Today, his amber eyes had found a new subject. She sat alone in the academy's central atrium, eating something that looked and smelled aggressively wrong. A bowl of what appeared to be charred meat chunks floating in an oily red liquid so intensely pigmented it seemed to vibrate. Around her, other cadets had quietly shifted their tables away. Nobody wanted to sit near the human. Kael had heard about humans, of course. Everyone had. A Deathworld species, technically. But the briefings always came with the same addendum: statistically unimpressive. Average sensory range. Moderate physical output. Recommend low-threat classification. Looking at her now, he believed it completely. She was small. Shorter than even the Velhari cadets, who were notoriously compact. Her skin was a warm brown, her hair pulled back in a simple knot, and she wore the standard-issue gray cadet uniform with no modifications, no rank pins beyond what was required. No visible weapons. No armor augments. She was reading a battered physical book paper, Kael noted with contempt, while eating her disturbing meal without looking up. She looked, in every possible sense, like prey. Kael set down his tray, cracked 2 of his 4 knuckles, and walked over. "You're in my section," he said, stopping beside her table. She turned a page. "I said," he reached out and closed the book with one massive hand, "you're in my section." For a moment, she was still. Then she looked up. Her eyes were dark. Not the luminous, shifting dark of Keth eyes or the many-faceted dark of insectoid species. Just flat, steady human dark. Looking at him the way someone looks at a mildly inconvenient piece of furniture. "The seating chart," she said, "is posted at the entrance. There are no assigned sections. There are my sections." He leaned down, getting close enough that she'd have to crane her neck to maintain eye contact. The other cadets nearby went very quiet. They knew what this was. They'd seen it before. And right now, you're in one. So pick up your disgusting food and find somewhere else to be inferior. She blinked once. Slowly. Then she said, "Okay." One warning. Kael actually laughed. It was a short, sharp sound that made a nearby Velhari cadet flinch. "One warning? From you?" "From me," she confirmed. "I'm giving it to you because you're new to interacting with humans and probably don't know better. I was enjoying my lunch. If you walk away right now, we both go on with our day. That's the warning." He grabbed her collar. It happened very fast after that. The human, Mara Ellison, as her name badge read, moved in a way that didn't look fast until it was already over. One moment Kael had a fistful of gray uniform. The next, he was airborne. Not dramatically airborne. Just enough, her hip beneath his center of gravity, her grip rotating him, leveraging his own forward lean into a controlled arc that ended with his back hitting the atrium floor hard enough to drive the air from all 6 of his lungs simultaneously. She had used 2 hands. That was all. He lay there, staring up at the atrium's glass ceiling, experiencing several things at once: physical pain, confusion, and the very specific humiliation of a room full of witnesses who had all gone completely silent. 3 seconds. From grab to floor. 3 seconds. Mara Ellison picked up her book, checked the spine for damage, and sat back down. She retrieved her spoon and returned to her meal as if she had done nothing more than swat a fly. Kael's third arm twitched. He got upright slowly, more carefully than he had done anything in years, every instinct recalibrating. His pride said attack. Something older and much smarter, said Assess. What? His voice came out wrong, and he had to reset it. What was that? Judo, she said, not looking up. Specifically a Koshi Guruma. Hip will throw. It's about 200 years old by our calendar. She turned a page. We have dozens of others. He struggled for the framework. The briefings had said low threat. The briefings had said moderate physical output. You're from a Deathworld. She ate a chunk of the charred meat. Every human is. We live on a planet where the weather can kill you, the animals want to eat you, the plants sometimes want to eat you, the ground itself occasionally opens up, and we invented roughly 400 distinct methods of killing each other before we even left the atmosphere. She finally looked up again. Those flat, steady eyes. And then we decided to get better at it. Systematically. As a culture. For thousands of years. Judo. Boxing. Wrestling. Muay Thai. Krav Maga. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Sambo. A slight tilt of her head. Want me to keep going? I have a list. The room was still silent. Kale became aware, slowly, that no one was moving. That 30 or 40 cadets of 8 different species were watching him stand over a seated human who had just put him on the floor and was now calmly educating him about it. You're small, he said. It came out more uncertain than he intended. Yep, she agreed. So are bullets. Somewhere behind him, a Velhari cadet made a sound that might have been a laugh quickly converted into a cough. Kale Veyron stood there for a long moment. His pride was making one argument. His still-aching spine was making a much more compelling counterargument. He picked up his tray. Your section, he said, and it cost him something to say it. Mara Ellison nodded once, already back in her book. He walked away. The cadet who had laughed, a small, gray-furred Velhari named Sauce, slid her tray hesitantly toward the human's table. Is that seat taken? Mara glanced up. Gestured at the empty chair. Sit. Sauce sat. Stared at the red bowl. What is that? Chili. Mara pushed a second bowl across. Earth food. Dried chili peppers, beef, beans, cumin. It's spicy. A brief pause. Probably very spicy for a Velhari. You might want to start slow. Sauce took one tiny sip. Her ears went flat. Her eyes watered. She took another sip. Oh, she whispered. Oh. This is terrible, why does it keep going? That's the capsaicin. Mara turned a page. Humans evolved to eat it. For fun. We enjoy the burning. Sauce stared at her with something approaching religious awe. You enjoy. We domesticated fire, Sauce. She said it pleasantly, conversationally, like a settled fact. We put it in our food on purpose. She glanced across the atrium, to where Kale Veyron was sitting very quietly, not looking at anyone. And we've been doing things on purpose, surviving, adapting, systematizing survival, for a very long time. Sauce looked at the chili. Looked at Mara. Looked at the spot on the floor where Kale had landed. She took another sip. If humans could survive this, she decided, she wanted to understand how. Across the atrium, Kale Veyron rubbed his back, stared at his food, and quietly requested access to the Human Cultural Archive for the first time in his academic career. The entry for martial arts alone was 340 pages. He read all of it.